Ladakhi filmmaker Maisam Ali. His movie In Retreat is going places after being shown at Cannes Film Festival. It's now ready for yet another prestigious film festival, Busan Film Festival. Congratulations, Masam,
Thank you. Thank you, man.
and having your film at two festivals, two major and prestigious festivals. What is that feeling like?
Yeah, it's good. It's a great feeling to be at these festivals. Yeah, and hope we can get some more festivals also and continue this journey.
Okay, you're being greedy, huh? More festivals after this.
No, yeah, the basically it's just the normal sort of run for. It's good for the film to show at different places. Uh, that's the sort of agenda. Yeah.
And the genesis of the film lies somewhere in your personal experiences, correct?
Yes, so basically, the film is more like a personal film with respect to my own experiences and also the place where the film is shot. I'm from Ladakh, so
Mm.
there is where the film is happening, and also it was from a personal. I heard about somebody who had come there, and I've seen somebody like that when I was very young. It was for a brief moment, like I had a glimpse of a memory at that point of time. But somehow that sort of incident remained with me, and that's how I did this film.
But do you think this feeling of displacement and not belonging, first of all, of course, it's almost become a universal issue. And but do you think it's the bane of modern day society?
I don't know like if it's like a bane of modern society, but definitely, as you said, it's something which we all feel
Hmm.
and something we grapple with. We all are constantly asking ourselves, where is our home? Where are we? Who are we? These kind of questions are, I think, more universal. I think since time immemorial, I think these questions have always been sort of, I think any human being would be asking these kind of questions.
And also it has a lot to do with your own personal history in the sense that you were born in Iran, you grew up in Ladakh, then moved to Delhi and then Pune, and I don't know exactly where you are right now. Uh,
Okay.
so you have experienced this more acutely than many of us who tend to stay in one place.
Yeah, I think like a lot of places because our parents are working somewhere else and then we are born somewhere else. For studies, we go somewhere else and we are sort of, yeah, it's personal. Since we said it was, I said it was like a personal sort of film. This was something I felt, and maybe I felt this person was like a distant version of myself. I think like I thought like that maybe, uh, you know, uh, it's like a similar experience. Maybe one day I'll be coming back home and I won't relate to or I won't be able to come back actually. So in that sense, yeah, it was personal and all these things, these
And
kind of themes which interest me.
all universal stories begin from I, but do you think a first feature film, a debut feature film more so?
Yes, ma'am, it's because when you're making a personal film, then there is a authentic authenticness to the film, original feeling to the film, which I like it very much. That's why I like to make films because ultimately it's about our experience. As you said, I, and then the I becomes third person. When the I become third person, that's some kind of achievement, I guess. Yeah.
And somewhere you also said that you've been, influenced and inspired by Iranian cinema. This movie in particular, uh, is it the fact? Of course, the fact also is that Iranian cinema is so good. It is such a distinct voice, but also that you were born in Iran. And does that have something to do with it?
No, I mean, yes and no, because of course, as you said, Iranian cinema, we all, across the world, people like to see Iranian films, for that matter, Japanese films also, French films also. But yes, I belong to the Shia community. I was born into the Shia community. And
Hmm.
culturally, Iran is also a Shia sort of community, kind of like culturally, they are. I mean, they have other Zoroastrian and other influences also, but you can very clearly see a lot of things. Uh, so I can relate to, their day to day, and but more so because of their universality and simplicity of life, the way they bring the complexities also, but in a very simple, in a very beautiful way, I feel. Yeah, that makes me like Iranian cinema.
But what is your idea of a home? How would you define home for someone who has seen so many homes?
And yeah, so that's again, I think I don't have an answer for it right now, but in some abstract way, filmmaking is also my home. When I make film, I feel at home. When you
Hmm.
practice this art form, I feel at home, or maybe in some imaginary way, I feel like maybe like my uh, great grandfathers was kind of old time merchants, travelers, caravan kind of things. So I like romanticize, like I wish I was also part of that, those kind of journeys where you move from one place to another place. You're selling stuff also, but you're also singing songs and you're stopping at different places, maybe doing picnics and all these kind of things. So yeah, I mean, I don't really know. I don't have an answer for that.
But as a you're saying your grandfather sold stuff, but as a cinema person, as a filmmaker, what are you trying to sell? Obviously not dreams as we understand in the Bollywood term.
What am I trying to sell? You're saying? I mean, I don't know what I'm trying to sell, but I just want to be honest and explore certain things. I think often, I mean, there are different kinds of cinema, like films. Some films want to say something, something political or ideological, but there are a lot of films also who are trying to their own way, honestly, trying to explore something, maybe explore life around them. I think at this moment I would just say that like that itself is also we have a lot of examples in art and films where we are just trying to maybe explore certain themes or understand certain things. That itself, yeah, constitutes what maybe I'm also trying to do.
And am I correct that you are an engineer too?
I studied engineering, yes, but it didn't interest me. Like how I like a lot of people go into because everybody's doing so. You go and do some kind of graduation. But I completed engineering, but I was not so interested. But I was interested in other things like cinema also happened there for me. I used to watch a lot of films there. We used to make some amateur kind of short films kind of things there.
So what is it with engineers and love for cinema? A lot of them do this degree and then move to cinema. वहां पे कौन सा कीड़ा है जो आपको काट लेता है?
No, ma'am, I think it's because people come there without knowing anything, no? Like, at least in my time, when I did engineering, it was not this whole following your passion thing was now I think kids are more aware, they know what they want to do, or I think parents are also aware. But in my time, the counseling thing and all these things were sort of fairly, it was not all over, like not everywhere in India. So I think because people are confused, I have some friends who they they do ultimately get into various kinds of fields. Like so some do their own businesses, some are into consultancy, some even went to sports and theater and acting and film. So I think that there we are coming and sort of understanding what we want to do. That kind of searching is happening in the college. I think it happens in any college for that matter.
But when you joined FTII, you knew for sure that this is what you wanted to do.
Yeah, by when I came to FTI, it was by then it was clear that I wanted to make films, and if I want to make films, it has to be studied and done properly. That kind of understanding and realization happened after I was trying to do some small things and grappling with this and realized कि ये तो अच्छे से मतलब पढ़ाई करके मतलब one has to do. Then only it and also because I liked it very much, so I enjoyed wanting to spend more time learning and studying films.
So how does FTII change you? I mean, like almost everyone from that institute is hugely talented, whether actors, filmmakers, editors, whosoever. And this seems to be the year of FTII in any case with Payal Kapadia's win, who I believe was your batchmate.
Yes, yeah. It was like a tremendous experience for everyone. Like for us, especially because we are our batchmates is also filmmakers from FTI. So I think
Hmm.
FTI is a serious place. I mean, at least till I was there, it used to be a serious place of cinema. And so we would
Hmm.
discuss films. We were basically we were 3, 4 years, we are constantly talking about films and understanding films, watching films from all kinds of places, having good teachers. Sometimes we'll get foreign filmmakers also, reputed filmmakers to come and do master classes. And so I think that kind of a dedicated time for you to understand films and also to understand yourself and larger society themes and all these kind of things. I think it helps for people to. There's a certain seriousness to in FTI, which is good also, sometimes bad also. But I think that eventually sort of, yeah, lends it.
Good we know what is bad.
No, I'm saying bad in the sense that sometimes it happens that you're too. Sometimes we also get bored only talking about films. So in that sense, it can become bad, or sometimes we become too idealistic also. When we come
Hmm.
outside in the world works in a different matter. Like the commercial industry works in a different matter. But I'm sure there are a lot of people from FTI who are doing well, doing really great in commercial cinema also. A lot of technicians, cinematographers, editors, a lot of big filmmakers also. So, but yeah, at least a seriousness towards maybe not towards a certain politics or ideology, but a seriousness towards what you're doing, towards your craft, let's say. Bare minimum, which is I feel that much is though I think one gets when somebody takes part in FTI's courses.
And when a film gets a festival tag, we all know it can work wonders in the sense that there is again a kind of a seriousness to the film. It gets a certain kind of a stature, and you can all when you know when it's screened, you can always say it's screened so many places. But is there
Yeah.
a downside in the sense that do we now is there a demarcation between cinema and festival cinema and
I think now, so the earlier there used to be a clear demarcation that this is an art film festival film and this is a commercial film, but now you see people are the lines are very blurring. Like the festivals also want more accessible kind of films also, apart from other sort of serious films also. And like you see, like big actors, they all want to be associated and work in independent films also, because for actors also sometimes they get bored doing the similar kind of stuff. And in this kind of a film, they are able to explore acting or explore different characters and doing interesting parts. So you see, like these days, people are all kinds of big production houses are involved also in films which are premiering at big festivals. So I think now, though, it's more sort of we don't know really. Yeah, yeah.
but would you then say the challenges for indie filmmakers are less?
Challenges are there, ma'am, always, because it will be difficult to do an indie film if it's not suited for market. Of course, if somebody's putting money, they want their naturally they would want that money, the film to make money, at least the money to get recovered. So those things, if are not happening, the challenges are still there. But interestingly, there are more and more independent films being made in India. I don't know how, but yeah, we see a lot of films being made in India.
Is it because of individual passion, you would say?
Yeah, individual passion. I think India is we are, of course, like we have a lot of poverty also, but we've also, I mean, there is a lot of money also in India, in the sense there is a lot of
Mhm.
private investment also in India. So like people, maybe like a big producer who's making films for 50, 60, 100 crores, for them to invest in an independent film for just 3, 4, 5 crore film, and then get some kind of reputation at these big festivals. And so I think people are interested, but we don't know what will happen in the future. Maybe there will be a decrease or
But any specific challenges that you faced in the making of this film? I believe your
yeah.
crew worked for free. I mean, like many from FTII.
Yeah, because I called all my friends, whomever I can, because the crew from FTI, they are they are talented people, not just in craft, but their understanding of cinema also. So I got as many people as I could from my friends and seniors and everyone helped me because they're all we all sort of are on the lookout if somebody is doing something like that or doing a passion project. And because it was my first film, so it is very difficult because who are you? You have nothing to prove till now. It's just that you are passionate about this, and then yeah, it's difficult to sort of. But the only thing I was trying to do trying to make this film in a very sort of in minimum resources because I knew I can, because I knew the people whom I'm working with are good enough, and uh, it was a challenge, but one has to do, I guess. There's no other option also.
But Ladakh is like almost on the world map of tourists. You know,
Ji.
it is right there. Were you at any point tempted to, encash upon that touristy image? Of course, you stayed away from it, but at any point were you tempted to do that?
Not so really because I was just trying to do my own thing, try to, make my own film. I think that's the only thing which matters, I feel, till now. Of course, there are a lot of marketing and all these things are there, like which ultimately decides a film's future. Social media is there, and even big festivals are also treated like that only. They're like big brands and everything. Uh,
Mm.
but I wanted to stay true to my own course, and I hope I can stay true to my future projects also. At least for now, this is my thinking.
Yeah, but whatever I've seen of the trailer, I have not seen the film.
Okay.
Uh, I can see that the cinematography is excellent, and so is the music. You paid extra attention to both the things.
Ji. Yeah, cinematography is done by one of my seniors, Ashok Meena, and he's a very great cinematographer because, in the sense, like he could understand what I'm trying to do, he could relate to what I'm trying to say, uh, and somehow because it's very difficult that to you're trying to say something very internal and something which you only know, and to communicate to that person, and that person also understanding it and bringing it in his own sort of images and in his own craft.
Mm.
uh, yeah, that was sort of really great working with him.
What would you say? What are you trying to say?
No, I was just trying to see. For me, it was like this story of a person who has come back home, and mm, who is just roaming in the night and sort of doesn't really want to be there. Is there, but doesn't really want to be there. In some ways, also wants to be there. That kind of a complexity and that kind of very subtle emotions, like a very fragile film. Maybe the next day for the larger society, whether this person came or not came, they don't even know. It's just like एक रात के मतलब in the shadows of the night, this person was there and he witnessed some things, and maybe this will be the last memory of him of this place.
Mhm.
So I was sort of moved by the sadness of the character and the sadness, the pathos, and the nature of the pathos in the film. And also, I felt like this is like very bare and very minimal. So to do that, I felt exciting if something like that, because it's challenging in that sense, like to do something very fragile and something very bare. Like I also because of the fact that it was personal to me, because I could personally relate to this, and so yeah, in that sense, it was a nice sort of an exploration journey.
So more like an experiential film, right?
Yes, more like an experiential, more experimental also for me to
Like
make.
experiment. And
Yeah.
you had similar feelings when you go back to Ladakh or not?
Yeah, definitely I do have. When I go back, I feel like yeah, I feel strange in the sense, like, because also I think it's a story of all small towns. When we come out and then we have our own understanding of the world, we have our own values, and then when you go back, you don't really fit in, no, in the sense like they have their
Yeah.
own things and their own. Sometimes you strongly resist. So it's very difficult. One of my history teachers told me that in a small town, especially like Ladakh, it's really wonderful as a child. You're absolutely free as a child because there's no problems of security. You can go anywhere, run anywhere. It's not like in the cities. You have to be very careful, like if somebody is raising their kids in cities. But once you start becoming little older, you become an adolescent. So after that, during that point until adulthood, that can be very suffocating in
Mhm.
a smaller society. So because of this sort of uh, these kind of feelings, I feel, yeah, these kind of feelings I generally have. Yeah.
And the choice to have it partially in Hindi, partially in Ladakhi, am I correct?
Yes,
Uh,
yes, yes.
how did you stick to this choice instead of going in for one language?
Yeah, in the sense because this person is kind of an outsider, but also an insider, and it's
Mhm.
it's actually my own thing because I unfortunately, because I was born in Iran and when I came back to Ladakh, somehow I couldn't. I'm not good with. I can speak Ladakhi in the Khadi Boli, the dialect, but
Hmm.
somehow maybe the literary things, the songs and everything, I don't relate to because uh, strangely that vocabulary is different. So I can think of. I can write poetry in Hindi, but I can't write poetry in Ladakhi. Sometimes English, but mostly Hindi or Hindi, English, Hindi, Hindustani types. So, yeah, so again, like it was my own sort of how I feel.
And you used a poem by a Palestinian poet, correct?
Yes, yeah, there's a fragment of a poem by Mahmoud Darwish's one poem is there. Right, right.
So
Uh,
how did you come across that and how did it come into the film?
so I was reading similar things. There are poetry, exiled poets.
Right.
So I was reading a lot of them just to get into the mood, and I was reading one Russian poet also, if I remember. His name is Joseph Brodsky, and some other sort of Iranian poets also. So all
Mm.
these were there, but this particular sort of this and couple of other of his poems, it remained with me, and I really liked it. This particular, I felt it sort of kind of describes the theme of the film also, and his feeling. So, yeah, of course, to say that the political context of Mahmoud Darwish, his homelessness is absolutely different to this character's homelessness. But maybe there
Mm.
is a connection also, but definitely so something like that. Yes.
एंड वो जो मतलब लाइन है हिंदी में जो कहता है कि अगर मैं एक मुसाफिर होता तो मैं दूसरे मुसाफिर से ये कहता सो
जी
एज अ मुसाफिर ऑफ सिनेमा आप
जी
व्हाट विल यू से टू अदर्स हु आर ऑन दिस रोड
to other musafirs of cinema, you are saying, or
या ऑन द रोड ऑफ सिनेमा
yeah, मतलब in the sense like मुसाफिर का तो वही होता है कि मतलब the journey should be interesting, journey should be rich and productive, you know. So yeah, I wish them good journey. I want to have good journey myself. Yeah, yeah.
and where does your journey take you next?
I don't know, and that's the beauty of a journey. You know, you don't know where will you go next. Definitely, as you mentioned, journey because I'm thinking in terms of my next film also. Again, in terms of journey also. So I'm going to be sort of moving well, in the same landscape, but I plan to sort of move out slowly, explore other areas, similar landscapes, and sort of again do a journey kind of a film. So it's interesting you mentioned it because I was thinking I have to go and take the journey also. Literally, I need to take all these journeys to sort of have those experiences and imagination to write something else. Yeah.
And somewhere the poem also talks about the stories, right? कि कहानी हम अपनी कहानियां ना कह पाए or something to that effect.
नो इट सेज कि एक मुसाफिर दूसरे मुसाफिर से कहता है कि मतलब गीत को और उठाओ मंजिल को और ठहराओ
हम्म.
ताकि ये सड़क और फैल जाए और हम बच जाएं अपनी अपनी कहानियों से मतलब
हाँ,
अ,
राइट.
तो तो
कहा.
बेसिकली नॉट बेसिकली इस कहानी कह लो या लार्जर नैरेटिव लार्जर स्ट्रक्चर कह लो
हम्म.
in a sense of freedom and sense of yeah that kind of feeling sometimes bigger stories or let's say bigger narratives bigger structures can like generally artists would feel sort of क्या बोलते हैं, caged within these narrative within these structures and like for example for me it's like you don't need to have a big sort of a narrative where a huge conflict is happening. You know, you can have other kinds of narratives also, simpler narratives also, sometimes not necessarily a single person narrative also. Though my film is a single narrative film, but when you see the film, it also has that feeling that it's not really a single person narrative. It's about a lot of other people also, larger place also. So something like that.
So story is here a metaphor for kind of a trap in which we find ourselves, right?
Yes, story, larger story could be of society also. So
Hmm.
yeah, as you said.
And you said that you will be moving from away from this landscape. Do you mean geographically or in terms of storytelling or in the format of your storytelling?
Yeah, interesting question in the sense, yes, of course, like not really. I can't change completely the way I look at cinema. It's a certain kind of filmmaking I try to do, but definitely yeah, geographically also I want to move little bit, explore and other areas also, and I'm sure the films will be also different. There will be some difference. There has to be some difference. Something which I've learned, something which I feel I could have done better, all those things, and yeah, depends what kind of a film I'm doing. So yeah.
So learned at FTII, you mean, or learned from life itself?
Yeah, generally, like from this film, from these experiences, we constantly try to change ourselves also. Well, in the sense, not necessarily change, but in the sense, matlab, if some things are, you can change within yourself also, better yourself also, yeah, maybe I can put more humor this time in my film. It's there, but it was not enough. Maybe these kind of learnings also. Yeah, I mean, that's the reason, like, I want to make films.
But were there any lessons learned at Cannes Film Festival as well?
Yeah, those kind of lessons are of course there. The first time we are going there, it's such a big event and a thousand things are happening. So a lot of lessons, of course, to be learned there. How to, yeah, business wise also. Like I'm also kind of producer in this film, but so those lessons are definitely there to sort of. If you're going there next time, we know certain mistakes which we made, and I think that continues all our life.
And as you are heading for Busan Film Festival, many in India are right now are fans of Korean cinema, Korean content, especially K dramas. Are you yourself? Do you watch Korean movies?
Yeah, I was recently watching one filmmaker called Hong Sang-soo. Is again like a very artistic filmmaker, very sort of interesting filmmaker. Kind of he makes two, three films every year, and he works very minimal sort of a setup with very his favorite a few of his cast which gets repeated, and again very personal, very interesting kind of things he's making. Of course, Korean cinema is like uh, really good. They have all kinds of things, and like, they've been working on this for a lot of years. That's why today Korea is almost they want to become like a cultural capital of the world, and they are everywhere, like big festivals, Oscars, commercials, and all kinds of
Yeah.
yeah.
And what kind of a storyteller would you like to be known as?
Right now, though, I'm just making this sort of my own weird sort of travel stories, kind of road movie. Somebody said it's like a road movie, so those kind of films till now, yeah, uh, in that sense, right now I'm in that zone. Uh, Maybe a couple of films like that. Hopefully, if I can make, and then later, I don't know what will
Hmm.
happen.
And at some point you would like to work with stars or like more, if not mainstream, maybe more middle of the road cinema.
I think, man, that naturally that should happen in a natural course. I don't want to force myself and say, "Ki suddenly I want to do like because somebody would say, "Ki do a pop drama or something like that." I think naturally one matures enough, things will become more accessible, so
Hmm.
universal. But I think I'm sure it will happen like that, uh, one step at a time type.
But do you think these terms, when we say accessible, somewhere I was reading about your film, being described as slow burn. Do you think these terms kind of limit the film to some extent?
Yeah, I'm sure it would do, but abhi, matlab, what to do? Matlab, this is what I wanted to make, and
Hmm.
for this, someone has to try and define it. They will say slow burn. Somebody will say this. Somebody will say कि abstract hai, kya hai. But in my own mind, I'm not thinking of these terms. When I'm just making a film, maybe it will work for the audience also someday. Who knows? But I just want to be honest like that, and yeah, because I I like to make films because sometimes you don't. you don't know how to describe certain things. That's the fun in making films. You know, I
Mm.
someday I would like to make a film which people cannot describe it. They'll have to watch it, like not verbalize it.
Mm.
I'm saying like a very silly thing, but in the sense, something a film is a product. One has to verbalize it. They'll have to say कि ये किस type की film है. But I think cinema is different from words. Cinema is also a language, but it's not like our
Not like
day-to-day
a written
language.
language. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's a different thing. So then that's exciting. कि this something like this can only happen in films. तो वो करने में ज़्यादा मजा आएगा, आता है.
In fact, cinema is a medium in which everything is a language, from music
जी,
to acting to visuals, and your
जी, जी,
film, I think, has done it.
जी,
Silence itself is a language in the
जी.
movie, and I'm
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
it's there in yours too. Yes. So, Maisam, any dream project, anything on your wish list you're dying to do? Any story that, experience you've shared, but any story that you might be dying to tell?
Just dying to do my next film only, man. That's the only thing. The next film is yeah, वो बोलते हैं ना, the buck stops there. मतलब just if I can do my next film, I'll be very happy. Yeah.
One step to another. But I'm
जी
sure
मैम.
with the festival tag and so much acclaim at being chosen at these festivals itself is an
जी.
honor. Things become easier for sure.
Yeah, definitely. At least like so many people came on board for this film.
Hmm.
Just pure believing, trusting me. So at least those people are sort of course, they're interested to if I want to do next film, they definitely want to be part of like something like that. So that's a great sort of matlab, some kind of a burden is taken away in the society also. You are I'm from a small town, then people also, otherwise your parents also, everyone feels कि क्या कर रहा है पता नहीं क्या, I don't know what he's doing. But then they feel कि okay, maybe he's doing something. So maybe something is happening. So that freedom also happens. So it definitely helps.
So can you tell us a little more about the new project? Or you're
अभी
not at
तो
liberty?
yeah, not yet. It's not developed to that level. But yeah, but whatever I could share, I think I told you like a journey and like an adventure and things like that. So yeah, वो तो एडवेंचर करके ही पता चलेगा क्या होगा. Yeah.
Right. Right. Okay. Thank you, Vasam. And all the best for Busan Film Festival and all the best for your future career. And let's have many more interviews and many more of your films make it to all the festivals possible. And this one also goes wherever you wish to take it. And all the
Thank you so
best.
much.
And thanks for talking to us. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Nice talking to you. Thank you.